Phil Spencer says there are no immediate plans for a mid-generation refresh of the Xbox Series S or X. What does that mean? Stay with me. Phil Spencer gave an interview with IGN and he said there are no immediate refreshes on the horizon. I'll read this article and then we'll discuss what it means. During the 500th episode of Podcast Unlocked, Xbox head Phil Spencer discussed the hardware roadmap for both consoles, and noting that he does not expect either console to have a model refresh in the near future, he said there's nothing that's going to come out next year that's going to make you feel like, oh, I should have waited. These are the consoles that we have in markets for years, and we built them with that in mind, and I love the tech that's in there and the capability, and that's where our focus is going. With Spencer seemingly confirming that the future-proof build of both the Series X and S, it feels unlikely that either console will see a model refresh. During the previous generation, Microsoft released the Xbox One, which lasted for 3 years until it was succeeded by the Xbox One S in 2016. A year later, Microsoft released the Xbox One X, which gave the original hardware a substantial boost. In 2019, Microsoft released an all-digital version of the Xbox One S. He said, "We don't have to go do hardware just to go do it. We want to do hardware because it actually creates new opportunities." Spencer states regarding the Xbox Series consoles, both the X and S, "As I've said before, it could be at the lower end that we find more immediate opportunities." Yet Spencer did not shut down the possibility of the future hardware models launching in the Xbox Series lineup as the company continues to explore ways to get more people playing Xbox products and services. One of the questions of a potential update in the future, Spencer says the team is, quote, having those conversations right now. He went on to say, "I've said before, it could be at the lower end that we find more immediate opportunities. There's something for us to do that allows more people to play with xCloud," Spencer said. "Is there something to do at a higher end? We're having those discussions right now. I love the capability of the hardware team, and it will be kind of a constant conversation." So after reading through this article, I do find it interesting that they're sort of talking about the idea that they're not willing to do mid-generation refreshes anytime soon because the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X are more than capable of carrying themselves through an entire generation. There's a lot of tech built into those systems, in particular the Xbox Series X, and we haven't even scratched the surface yet on what these new consoles can do. What I did find interesting is him talking about that lower end and finding success there. And there was an article a few weeks ago talking about the Xbox Series S and its success in other regions around the world, in particular Japan. They love the sleek and stylized look of the console, and I think they're onto something with that console and its price point. He also mentioned xCloud when he was talking about that lower end. I don't think he means in terms of the experience being lower end, although streaming is something that is a ways off. People need to have internet that can handle that, and there's a lag issue, and they seem to be working that out. But I do think they see these areas of expansion as maybe more exciting internally than simply making boxes and trying to sell them. We know that they do feel that way, but it is important to have those boxes and have them sell. And he does say that the best experience for everything that they're doing is always going to be on those platforms, the native experience. You just can't beat it. But they're looking to expand into other areas. And, you know, the lower end is an interesting thing when he brings that up in this article. And I think about things like xCloud. I think about things like the price point for the Xbox Series S. And eventually the price point for these two consoles, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, are eventually going to decrease over time. And the barrier to entry being price is going to go away. What was smart is that the barrier of entry at the beginning of this generation is the lowest it's ever been, and Microsoft made sure of that by creating the Xbox Series S. And I got to tell you, the more I use this system, the more I absolutely love it. I know that it isn't the highest end experience this generation, and eventually I'm probably going to upgrade to an Xbox Series X, but I do think that it was smart to create that Series S and the lower end entry points, as opposed to lower end meaning something worse. It's just lower end in terms of getting people in, enticing them with things, again, like the price point or like streaming, because everybody has a phone, everybody has a tablet, but not everybody can afford to have a phone, a tablet, and a console. So let me know what you think about this article. I'll link it in the description below. I thought it was interesting, and I really don't think we need a mid-generation refresh this generation. I think the systems are more than capable, the most capable that we've ever had at the beginning, middle, or end of a generation. So I think these consoles have at least 7 to maybe 8 years in them. And even at that point, I think we'll still be seeing some things happening on these consoles, because closed platforms always tend to do a little bit more, and it's a little bit easier to squeeze them than an open platform. And consoles have always had those kind of games that you think shouldn't really be able to play on the systems. You look at Horizon on the PS4, the base PS4, or even Gears of War on the Xbox 360. So there's a lot of great content to come. I thought this article was interesting. No mid-generation refreshes anytime soon. I don't think we need them. Do you think we do? Think about liking and subscribing, sharing this video out on your favorite social media platform of choice. I'd appreciate that, as I don't have social media, and it would help me grow this channel immensely. Give me a comment in the comments section. Let me know if you think the Xbox Series S is that console that's going to bring people in to Microsoft's ecosystem, to Microsoft console in general. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.